Can we start? Shall we
Can we
start, sir?
start? Shall we start, sir?
Sir, shall we start, sir?
Shall we start? Yes, madam.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Bhiksha, please give us the welcome address.
Yes, ma'am. A great morning to all. It gives us an immense pleasure to welcome you all for this webinar on machine learning. It would like to give my heartiest welcome to our chief guest, principal, register, all the head of the department, faculty members, and my dear friends. Here we welcome our guiding star, our beloved principal, Dr. R. Ravichandran, to deliver his words of facilitations.
So, good morning to one and all present here.
And all present here.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you others please? Yes, third year IT. Yes, fine. Okay. It is very happy to be part of this webinar conducted by Department of Information Technology on machine learning. It's a very vital topic and very sweet one, most sought after today, because in these days, artificial intelligence is said to be the very prominent area which will give you the 80% of the jobs in the coming decade. So if you say 100% of jobs in computer science area, 80% will be occupied the artificial intelligence pioneers. So one of the biggest part of artificial intelligence is machine learning. We are making the machines to learn how to code them, how to program them, how to utilize them, operate our machine tools, operate our devices. So when you say machine learning, when you say Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, this will take over everything, right from kitchen to automobiles to buildings to everywhere. So it is right time people must have some introduction awareness to this part of computer science, because nowadays degree programs are coming up as computer science with specialization in machine learning, like that. So our students should not miss this particular area. You can hear to Miss Nitya Mangai, and then later on you can pursue your own career in machine learning too, if you require, if you like it. So I would like to utilize you all utilize this session properly. Miss from Intellect Design Arena Limited from Chennai. She has got rich experience in machine learning. So utilize her lecture properly and shine well. Have a good day. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Principal Sir, for motivating the students to building up a career.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. Ms. Nitya Mangai Krishnaraj completed a BE in Computer Science Engineering from College of Engineering, Kindi. She had developed a footage detector, a real-time driver footage detector system based on eye tracking and IR/IS tracking. It is a visual-based approach which detects the footage of the drivers and ring an alarm if the driver is fatigued. Her area of interest includes machine learning, deep learning, Java, Python, NumPy, Pandas, OpenCV, Keras, TensorFlow, PyTorch. Ms. Nitya Mangai Krishnaraj is team head, Intellect Design Area Limited, Chennai, or among us to ensure us regarding of machine learning. We invite her to motivate us and share her knowledge and wisdom to build a career. Ma'am.
Thank you, Meenakshi. Thanks for this intro. Okay, hi guys. This is Nitya. I'm from Intellect. So yeah, I'm gonna share whatever I know about machine learning in today's session. Okay, it'll be good if you can turn on the camera because I love to see faces. So if it is fine with you guys, we can just turn on the camera because we can just see each other even though we are not sitting next to each other. We can virtually connect as well. That's one request I have. So let's start the class. Thank you, sir. As sir told, machine learning is the most sought after job in today's life. Yeah, sure. I need to accept that, sir, because everywhere you can see that technology is blooming. Right now, we can't say that only one technology is predominantly going to rule the world. That is not going to be the case, right? Earlier it was Java. Wherever we go, I know Java means that they used to respect you a lot, because it means that you know a lot of things. They don't know what you do, but they really know a lot of things. That if you know Java, okay, fine, you know everything. That was the scenario back in. Okay, but right now, if you say I know Java, okay, you know Java only, because even a mom who has not been educated, she knows that okay, if my guy knows Java, he is going to be settled well. But right now, that is not the situation, because she is going to question you, why you don't know Python. Python is only ruling. The person who are not even educated, they know what is Python, what is Java. They don't know what is Python, what is Java instantly, but then they just know the word Python and Java. The next word they used to know is machine learning, artificial intelligence. That is what they know. But what is the scenario right now? We are in our computer science department. We have to do something because technology is driving very fast. It is going it in a faster way. You know, right? COVID has hit us, and within a span of 8 to 9 months, we are able to find the vaccine, right? So that is the situation here, because technology is driving us very fast, and we have to belt up, buckle up. We have to start knowing technology, start exploring technology, and start using the technology, right? So, as Sir told, we have many technologies around there. First and foremost is the artificial intelligence. Next comes the robotic process automation. Both are really interrelated, but let's see what is machine learning in today's class. Before starting machine learning, I just want to know what is artificial intelligence. Can anyone tell me what is artificial intelligence? You can ping me also, or you can just unmute and then speak also, it's fine. Okay. Why I ask this artificial intelligence question is because there is a lot of difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning. There is one more topic called deep learning. So first, let's get to know the topic first. What is artificial intelligence? What is machine learning? What is deep learning? Then let's move on to the machine learning. As you know, I can tell a firm example which everyone will know, the Chitty Robo, right? Chitty Robo, everyone must have seen the movie, right? I can say that that is an artificial intelligence. Completely developing a human to replace a human activity. That is what is called as artificial intelligence. Because humans, we know when to react, where to react. But it's very difficult to make a computer to react for a situation. To make a computer react for every situation, we need to make it artificially intelligent. Right? When you are teaching that machine on a particular domain, you are making that machine to learn something. That is machine learning. Machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence. Okay? Within machine learning, there are many subparts. I can say there are many subsets within a machine learning. One deeper subset is called as deep learning. Okay, let's take the Chitty Robo. So first we are developing this Chitty Robo. You might have seen that Raji will be fitting his parts, and he used to give training for music. He used to give training for cooking. He used to give training for driving, right? So this machine learning means only one part. Say for example, we are just asking the machine to learn cooking. So here you are not learning anything. Okay, you are making the machine to learn something. Why are we making the machine to learn something? Because it is going to be beneficial for us. It is going to do your task. That's why we are making the machine to learn, because we want to be lazy every day, right? Only make the machine work, only do the washing machine, do the things. We can just keep quiet. So that's happening in the real world. We are just bringing that laziness into a technology that is called as machine learning. So in this case, what he will do, he will just play the music, right? He used to play Carnatic music, Western folk music, all kinds of music. He used to play it for the Chitty Robo. What will happen? Chitty Robo will be learning, okay, this is Carnatic. Okay, this is Western. Oh, this is how folk is. Okay, he used to get exposed to all types of music. So Rajnikant is actually training the Chitti Robo, right? He is saying the input also. Input he is giving and he is also telling the output. If you get to hear this kind of song, then it is Carnatic. Input is song, the answer output is Carnatic. If you get to hear this type of song, it is a folk song. If input of the song is the mp3 of the song is the input there, and the corresponding answer folk is the output. So Rajnikant is feeding both the input and output to the Chitti. Once he has fed whatever songs he know, he is going to ask question to the Chitti. Chitti, can you tell me whether that song is a folk or it's a Western? Chitti will be able to answer it properly. This is called as machine learning. Rajnikant has made this Chitti Robo become very known to the music, so that it has learned a small part of music and is able to answer it. This is machine learning. In true, Rajnikant has not done anything, just for the movie, just for making you to understand. I told that, okay, you can just ignore me if you're not Rajnikant's fan. Okay, let's see our day-to-day life where our machine learning has invaded us. Let's take the Gmail. What is happening in our Gmail? It is directly classified as promotions, updates, and it is classified into primary, forums, social. How is this possible? How a mail, which even a human has not read, being classified into different categories? It is because of a algorithm which is running behind. This algorithm is able to classify things based on the sender. This is also one way of machine learning we are using in our day-to-day life. Starting from the time we wake up till the time we go to our bed, someone is keep watching us. Someone is collecting data from us. Who is that someone? Someone is none other than the Google. Google knows what you require, what you don't require, what is liked by you, which is preferable for you, what you need to do. Okay, if you want to buy just go and search. If you want to buy some shoes, okay, what we will do, we will just go and search it in the Google, right? Google will collect the data. It will learn that you are in need of a shoe and you're going to purchase a shoe. So what it will do, it will go and give information to all the shoe brands. So all the shoe brands will come up with the recommendations in your everywhere, whether you go to a YouTube or whether you go to a Facebook, wherever you go, you will be getting that recommendation. It is because of the recommendation algorithm. How is this possible? Because the data which you actually shared with the Google has been learned. After learning it, it is giving you some recommendation. Everything around us in the world, if you see it minute, it's because data is being learned. Okay, now let's start the machine learning. I think I have given a quick intro. Let's go to the PPT. I will just share the PPT. Meanwhile, if you have any doubt, you can stop me wherever you want. Okay, I want this class to be an interactive way. So you can just stop me wherever it is required. Are you guys able to see the screen? You can just ping me.
Yes, ma'am. Screen is visible, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is machine learning. I don't want to give about this history, which you can just Google search. Okay, let's see what is Python. I just, in the intro, I told that if you know Python, they used to value you. That is true, because Python is really ruling the world. I will tell you what is the big difference between Java and Python. In case of machine learning, we need to give a lot of data to the system. We need to give a lot of data. So if you just give only 2-3 information, and if you ask the system to predict it, it is not sure. Because if I am a teacher to you and I'm just giving the topics of each chapter and telling you that you have to be prepared for the exam, you will accept it? You will never accept it. You will ask me to teach the 2 chapters. If I just give the chapter name, you will not accept it, right? Like that, you have to give a lot of training to the system. To give a lot of training to the system, you have to load a lot of data. Data in the sense, data can be a database, data can be large number of videos, data can be large number of images, data can be whatnot, can be many URL also, right? So if you want to load a lot of data, Java is not that responsive like Python. With Python, you can actually process a large volume of data, that too in a very less time. That's why people prefer Python. Java, it is also possible to process large amount of data, but it will be very time consuming, means it will take a lot of time to process it. And to process a large volume of data, you still have to type it. Okay, even I'm really proud to say that I'm from computer science, but I don't like typing a lot of code because I don't like it. If I get any small way of approaching that, we will actually use that, right? So one small way of approaching is Python. Okay, I will encourage you kids to learn Python if you are new to it, because with Python you can just learn a lot of things. Okay, so that's why we prefer Python over Java. First thing. Second thing is that in Java we have libraries, but Python has the latest libraries. Libraries like you can just see, which has been highlighted here: NumPy, SciPy, scikit-learn, Matplotlib. So these libraries are used for data analysis. What is the meaning of data analysis? It is used to find the average. It is used to find the graph. It is used for plotting the graph. It is used to find the normalization, binarization. So all these things, fatafat, you can just do it with the calling of a simple library in case of a Python. Whereas you need to write a lot of code in Java. So that is one more advantage. First, large volume of data. Second, it has more libraries. Okay, then if you want to work with algorithms, it is always best to choose the Python, right? That's why we usually prefer Python over Java. So whenever we are doing something with machine learning, we have to keep it in our mind that we are using Python. Apart from Python, you have another language called R, but that is not used widely like Python. Okay, it's always recommended to use Python. Okay, so I have given us a quick intro. So let's not go to that. Okay, machine learning I have given you. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is that you are making a machine to learn something for your own beneficial, right? In a traditional program, what we will do, we will just give the data and we will just send a program or a piece of code to it. What will happen? It will process and it will give the output, right? That is usually happening in the traditional programming. But in case of a machine learning, I give the input, I give the output, and I also specify the algorithm. Okay, so if I give the input and if I give the output and specify the algorithm, system will understand, okay, if it is red in color, it must be apple. If it is orange in color, it must be orange. Okay, if it is very big in size and it is in green color, then it is watermelon. So the system itself is coming to a conclusion. That is machine learning. You just give the picture of watermelon, you just give the picture of apple, you just give the picture of orange, and then tell that if this is red, this is apple, and this is orange, this is watermelon. Output also you give the picture, which is the input, you give the output, which is the answer. Both you feed into the system with some algorithm. Okay, system itself understands the scenario. Okay, if it is in this shape, it has to be apple. If it is round in shape, it has to be orange. Okay, if it is very big, if it is out of the boundary of my visual, then it has to be watermelon, provided it has to be in green color. The system itself comes to a conclusion. That is machine learning. Okay, so you don't feed in the data. I'm sorry, you just give the input and output to the system and specify the algorithm. System is getting ready to answer any of your questions. Okay, it's like how we prepare for our exam. So the teacher will give the, I'm not saying about the college, I'm just saying about your class 11, 12, 10. What will happen? Teacher will give the question, teacher will give the answer. He will just by heart, mug it up, and then go well for the exam. So whenever they ask some random questions, we will not be able to answer. When they ask the exact question from the book, what we will do? We will just vomit it out. Right? That is how machine learning is. But machine learning is very good. It's not like us. It will not vomit, okay? Because we are going to tell that you are not going to mug anything. We will see how we are going to tell the machine that you are not allowed to bug. Let's see that. Let's see where all machine learning is used. Machine learning is used in our day-to-day life, starting from our Gmail, from our vision processing, language processing, forecasting. Yeah, forecasting. Weather forecasting is a worldwide used. So I'll just tell how weather forecasting is used to predict things. Okay. So I have 2010 to 2020 weather forecasting data. So, for example, if I say data, you will be asking, ma'am, what will you feed, ma'am? If you say 2010 to 2020, it will be like 365 into 10. So, one day one year is 365 days. So, 365 days into 10 will give me somewhere around 3,650 days, right? So, for the 3,650 days, let's take only for Chennai. Okay, let's take only for Chennai. I'm just taking the weather forecasting details only for Chennai. For each day, I have to put the weather forecasting. So morning it was little cloudy. Then afternoon it was at its peak. Then evening it was little rainy. So all this information will be there. So what is the humidity? What is the precipitation? What is the temperature? And everything will be noted in the forecasting. You know that, right? So 2010 to 2020 ka detail I have it. I'm going to create a forecasting system. What is this system is going to do? This system is going to predict and tell whether it is going to rain or not. Okay, to make this system work better, what will I do? I will load my data. What data I will load? I have only 2010 to 2020 ka data. So I will just feed in these data into the system. And I have to follow that. I need to also put an algorithm. Okay, over this algorithm, I am feeding my input and I'm feeding my output. Okay, this was the temperature, this was the humidity, it did not rain. This was a temperature, this was a precipitation, it rained. So all the input as well as output I have fed into my forecasting system. The system has listened to all my things based on the algorithm's training. Okay, after that, now it is 2021. I'm gonna ask my system, this is my temperature today, this is my precipitation today, this is my moisture today. Will it rain? I'm asking this forecasting system. Forecasting system is saying that probably it will not rain. This is how forecasting machine learning is used. I can say you current scenario also. Even in the current scenario also, they are doing this COVID test. How do you think they will do this COVID test? It's been 1.5 years. So they have a large amount of data. The person was having this temperature and the person was having cough. The person was having fever and the fever's temperature was 109. Like that, they will have data of large amount of people. Okay. Now, meanwhile, in some 2-3 years, you will be able to get this COVID test. Now, not in 2 years. I think I just read the newspaper some time back. There was a kit also which is not been approved properly, but there is a kit for COVID also. How this kit has been done, do you think? This kit has been done because of the data which has been collected so far. So the data has been fed into the system. So for example, I'm making a COVID system. So this COVID system, how it will be made? This COVID system first requires the data. What are the data? For past 1.5 years, people have been dying. So it will know, okay, these people had this temperature, they had cough, they had fever. The fever was this. All this data will be fed into the COVID system. System will keep remembering, okay, they had 105 degree, they had fever, so it was COVID positive. They had 100 degree, they did not have cough, so it was COVID negative. Like that, it will be having the input and having the output. It will be learning things from the data. Okay, after learning things, now you can ask some questions to it. Okay, my temperature is 100. I'm not having fever, but I'm having mild cold. Is it COVID positive or negative? You can ask the system. The system will say COVID negative. Got it? This is how machine learning has been used. That's how you have that kit also. Right? So that we have machine learning is being used in every way, every other way. Not only from Gmail, not only from COVID kit, not only from the forecasting. It is also used in the games. Even in the real-time virtual games which we play, it is also used. It is also used in the robotics. It is also used in the expert systems. So what we will do, we will actually call any of our customer services. Airtel. Okay, my Airtel prepaid, I have just paid, but it shows that I have not paid my bill. What I will do, I will immediately call my Airtel service. After keeping my phone down, I will get a Gmail from them. Thanks for calling the customer service. Your service is always welcome. How do I get the Gmail? Once again, it's a machine learning. The person who was talking to me was not centered. It's because of one more topic called robotic process automation. Because of that only we are getting the Gmail. Okay, so we have seen a lot about machine learning. We have seen a lot about application. We have seen data. So what is really machine learning? Even I can make a machine learning. After this class, if you put some Google effort, we use this word called Google effort because anyone can do anything with Google, right? So that's why we say Google effort. So with your Google effort, you can also make a machine learning system. Okay, let's see how you can make the system. To make a machine learning system, you have to follow these 5 steps. Okay, these 5 steps you need to follow. Before going to these 5 steps, do you guys have any doubt? You can just tell me now, or you can even tell me, ma'am, எனக்கு ஒண்ணுமே புரியல, ma'am. You can, I'm really, what to say, I have to welcome and then reteach you. It's fine for me. You can just go ahead and ping me. I'm just waiting for your comments because I just don't want to rush things. I don't want to rush things. I just want to go it in a pace you understand it. It's okay even if you understand a little bit. But just ping me whether you have understood or whether I need to go slow.
No, it's fine now.
Okay, thank you, Shibu. One person is going to represent the whole, I guess. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, first, to do any machine learning system, first thing what you need to do is you will have to tell what is the problem. What is your problem? First, you have to put that problem down. My problem is I need to make a weather forecasting system. My problem is I need to make a COVID kit. My problem is I'm going to make an some device which is going to predict whether I have cancer or not. I'm going to make a system which is going to tell me whether this image is an apple or an orange. Right. So first put your problem down. Okay. To approach that problem, you have to collect data. What data? Data can be an image, data can be a YouTube video, data can be anything, whatnot. Data can be a drive information which you can feed. Data can be an URL. If you want to make a machine learning thing on Albert Einstein, just pass the URL which has the Albert Einstein's information. That will be fine for data. Right. First problem is defined. Next, the data which is relevant to the problem. Okay, so even scientific data are available right now. You can just take the scientific data in the sense if you're doing something with the forest area, then you have to collect the satellite data. And scientific data means it is mainly used for analyzing the cells for cancer cells like that. So first put the problem, collect the data. Then you have to put your data into algorithm. I was keep on telling you guys there is something called algorithm. Let's see what is algorithm little later. So first put the problem, collect the data, then choose the algorithm. In which algorithm you are going to create your system. Put that. Okay. First define the problem, then you will have to prepare the data, then you have to choose the algorithm. The algorithm in which you are going to train your system. Are we understanding? First problem, next data collection, next choose the algorithm in which you are going to train your system. Right. Once that is done, you have to check whether your algorithm is performing better or not. If it is not performing better, you will have to improvise it. What is the meaning of performing better or not? I am actually making a system which is going to tell whether it is an apple or an orange. Okay, basic system I'm making. This is my problem. What is the data I will feed? I will feed in the images, 10,000 images of apple, 20,000 images of orange. Like that, I am feeding into the system. That is my preparing data. Algorithm is like, I know you guys all know what is SVM, right? Support vector machine, you know. So I'm going to use a support vector machine algorithm for my training. Okay, so choosing the support vector machine algorithm, I am feeding my apple and orange ka images, right? So the training will be going on for the system. Okay, after that, I am showing some apple images. The system has to tell it is apple. Sometimes the system will tell it is orange. Right. So for example, I'm just giving 10 inputs to test whether it is working properly or not. 10 images, I'm just giving 4 images apple, 4 images orange, 2 images watermelon I'm just putting. Okay, I'm just giving this 10 images. Out of these 10 images, your system should be able to perform above 8. But if it is performing, for example, 5, it means that your algorithm is not suitable for the system. You have to improvise your algorithm. That is the meaning of improving result. Then you will have to present your result. Present the result means you can just present it in the graph and show it how well your algorithm is working. Okay, so let's see more about algorithm. I hope you guys have understood the 5 step. If you approach this 5 step, your ML system is ready. First, put in the problem, collect the data for your problem, choose the algorithm, check whether your algorithm has done its job, then present it. So these 5 steps, if you do, your ML system is ready. Right? Let's jump to the learning. So there are 3 types of learning. One is super. I guess you must have learned about these algorithms in your algorithm class. Anyway, I'll just brush it up because this is what will be used in our machine learning technique as well. First is supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised learning. Supervised, yeah. Always your seed is your algorithm. What seed you put, that plant grows up. Okay, what is their nutrition? Nutrition is that if your plant has to grow properly, you have to put in large amount of data. Okay, that's why we say if you solve large amount of math problem, your math paper is going to be very easy. That is called as nutrients here. Gardener is you, who's going to make the system. Plants are the programs, right? Okay, first let's see what is supervised learning. Okay, supervised learning is the sense. So I was making this apple and orange system, right? In this apple and orange system, I was able to classify. I was able to tell, okay, this is apple. If it is red in color, it is apple. If it is orange in color, it is orange. I was able to classify. Okay, when you are having a label, color, I can say that color is the label here. When you are having a label, if you are able to determine based on a particular label, then the particular learning is called supervised learning. Okay, so we can say, for example, if there are 2 tumor cells. I guess you know what is the meaning of tumor cells. One is benign, another one is malignant. Okay, so if it is of small size, it is benign. If it is of little large, it is malignant. So we are able to classify them based on the label called size. Right. So when you have a label, based on the label, if you are able to arrive at a decision, then it is called as supervised learning. Even the system will take the same. Okay, if it is red in color, then I have to tell it is apple. If it is very big in size, I have to tell it is watermelon. Okay, I will show the images of dog and cat. Okay, then the system will come to a conclusion. You are not telling the label. System itself identifying the label. Okay, then when you have a label, it is called as supervised learning. What are the algorithms you can use for that? You can use any of your regressions algorithm, decision tree, random forest, KNN. And also regression means you can use logistic regressions aspect. So these all comes under the supervised learning. Unsupervised learning means you don't have that label at all. When you have a label, it is called as supervised learning. When you don't have any label, it is considered as unsupervised learning. For example, I am making a credit card fraud system. Okay, whoever is fraud, it should be able to detect it, right? But I can just give some small instances. Okay, if this is the account number, then it is means that it is a credit fraud number. Okay, I can just give some information because the person who is going to make a fraudulence will be coming out with his own idea that the machine will not know, right? In that cases, we call this type of learning as unsupervised learning. Okay, so when there is a fraud detection or defective equipment detections, we always use this unsupervised learning. Okay, usually K-means algorithm suits best for the unsupervised learning. then it is semi-supervised learning. In some cases, you have little data, little label data is available with you, but most of the data are not are known to you. Then in that case, you have to use a semi-supervised learning. So I can say that that when you are actually dealing with the Mars images, they know a little bit about Mars images, but they don't know many thing about the Mars images, means whether it is a rock or whether it is some chemical, they don't know it, right? At that cases, they use the semi-supervised learning. Okay, some will be labeled data, some will be unlabeled data. When you both combine together work, we have to use this semi-supervised learning. Another learning is there, which is called as reinforcement learning or the feedback learning. So this feedback learning will be used in the cases of training any machine. For example, first it has gone a little wrong. Then you teach the system, okay, this is wrong. Okay, when this is a situation, you should not act like this. That is called as reinforcement learning. I can give you one best example of the same old Indian movie only. In that first time, Chiti will be driving the car. At that time, it will go and hit somewhere. Right. Then what will Rajni tell you? If you go and hit somewhere, you have to report to the police, right? Okay, it will do. Then if it goes in a wrong way, Rajnikant will tell, okay, you have to drive it left, drive it right. So when you see a red light, you have to stop. So the system will take the feedback from its owner, and it will act accordingly. So next time, if it sees a red color signal, it will stop. This is called as reinforcement learning. So we have the types of learning. So training data is there. Unsupervised learning will not have the labeled data. Semi-supervised learning will have both the labeled and non-labeled data. Reinforcement will have the sequence of actions. Okay. First, I told you that you have to have the data, right? First among the 5 things, first is that you put in the problem. Second one is that you will have to have data, right? Before going into the third one, you have to do one process which is called as data pre-processing. Okay. Why are we doing this data pre-processing? You can ask me. Because I am loading 1,000 rows of data into a system, 10,000 rows, even 1 lakh rows of data I am just loading into the system. So data pre-processing comes because there may be some issues with the data. For example, I am loading this weather forecasting, which I told you, I am making a weather forecasting system. At that time, I have to load about 10 years of data. Right. In the 10 years of data, there may be situation that some of the data be wrong. For example, temperature can be 100 or 100, sorry, even that cannot be there. Temperature can be 40 degree or 30 degrees Celsius. Maximum it can be like that one, temperature, okay? But now I have an entry where the temperature is around 600. Do you accept this? We will not accept this, right? So we have to remove this unnecessary data, which is wrong. Right. So before loading the data into the algorithm for the system, you have to pre-process it. Data pre-processing means data cleaning. Right. So, for example, when I am predicting orange and apple, I'm just loading the data in the form of an image. Okay, at that time, some of the image value tells that the apple is a 0.400 gram, sorry, 400 gram, or it will say 350 gram, 500 gram like that. But one image is telling that this apple is 1.5 kg. Will you accept that? No, that is a wrong data. So we have to process these data, means we have to neglect that data, and then we have to find the mean of that value and then replace it with value. So what will be the mean of an apple weight? Mean of an apple weight will be around somewhere 350 to 400 gram. So I will put that, erase this 1.5 kg, put 400 gram. This is called as mean removal. Got it? So when some data has to be processed, when some data has to be cleansed, we do the data pre-processing before applying the data into the algorithm. This cleansing has various ways, various methods. So you can cleanse your data, which is in the form of an image, YouTube or music, whatever be your input data, they all will be processed. Got it? So one way of doing it is mean removal. Okay. Another way is scaling. Another way is normalization. Normalization, that same old DBMS concept where you will have to make the value 1. right? Normalization, then binarization will be used, and some data pre-processing will be like for an image. I'm just putting an image, okay, for the breast cancer. What will I do? I will just put my images. An image can be a 2D, right? 2D images. First, you will have to pre-process the image before applying into the algorithm. What are the pre-processing I can do for an image? First, I need to convert this image into a RGB image. RGB image means red, green, blue image. Then I have to convert this image into grayscale image, right? After this grayscale image, I need to do the binarization. This is a pre-processing which I have to do for the images. If it comes to data, it is different. If it comes to images, it is different. If I take audio, it will be completely different because I need to do the noise reduction, background noise reduction I have to do. So data pre-processing will be different for one data, but you have to pre-process your data anyhow before applying it to the algorithm, right? Now, you have to analyze your data. So we have to know a way to put the data into the algorithm. So I told you that Python has this library called pandas. Pandas will be used for loading the data into the system. Okay, you can find large libraries in the Python used for putting the data into the system. Okay. Okay. So now I told you that first you need to put in your problem, then you need to collect the data, then you will have to put it into your algorithm. Why am I putting my data into the algorithm? Because I need to train my system. What is the meaning of training? I need to give the input data, output data. Both the data need to be pre-processed before feeding them into the algorithm. Okay, training data means training data will have an algorithm in it. For example, it has SVM. Over the SVM, I will be passing in my training data's input and training data's output. Both I will be passing along with the SVM. If I pass it, the system will be able to understand either it will do regression, either it will do classification, either it will do prediction. It will understand the requirement and it will create its own clusters. Clusters in the sense like if it is above 400 to 500 gram, and if it is red in color, it is apple. So it is forming a cluster for apple. Okay, if the weather is 105 and humidity is so and so, and if precipitation is this, it is going to rain. So it's forming a clustering. This is called as training data. So you put in the data, you put in the algorithm, you just feed into the system. System will come with its own solution. Okay, so this is testing data. So when I have given something for training to the system, I need to check whether the system is memorizing it or the system is creating its own cluster. All right, I need to check whether the system is understanding it properly or not. How do I test it? How do I check it? The same way how teachers used to check us. How teachers used to check us? They used to give us test, right? They used to teach us in the class. That is called as training. They used to test us. When so that's why they say it's an application oriented paper. Why? Because they are used to take. One second, just hold on. 1 minute. Okay. Why do they give us test? It is for checking whether you have understood this concept or not. Right. So that is the same way we have to test our data, whether the system has understood it or not, whether it has just mugged it up. Mugged it up means memorized, which is called as overfitting. We will keep testing it with the new data. Apart from the 1 lakh data which I have loaded into the system as a training data, I will be loading some new 1,000 data to check whether it has memorized or it has understood, it has formed cluster. This is called as testing data. Okay, then we not know this. Okay, then we need to know about the performance measure. Once the algorithm has taken in the training input and the training output, it would have formed the cluster and it will be ready for our production. Right. When it is ready for our production, we will also be loading some 1,000 data into the system to check whether it is working properly or not. When it is giving out some output, we have 4 kind of outputs. One is true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative. This I can tell you with the scenario of cancer. For example, a person can have a benign cancer or malignant cancer. Benign cancer means the person is having a chance of survival. Malignant cancer means he's in the worst stage. You can say he's in the worst stage. Okay, so you are creating a system to check whether the person is having benign cancer or malignant tumor. Okay, at that time, if your system is saying that the person is having malignant, means the person can have either malignant or benign, means true positive. If the person is having malignant and you still say it is malignant, it will be considered as true positive. Okay, and false positive means if the person is having benign but your system is saying malignant, it becomes false positive. Okay, so if the person is having benign and your system is saying the person is having malignant, it is good because the person is just having benign, but he will be approaching the hospital that he is having malignant. Right? So then after some 2-3 cases, okay, no, you don't have malignant, you have benign. No, he is in safer side. But come to the other situation. Other situation is that the system is predicting that you are having benign. Okay, but then you are actually having benign, then you are safe. Okay, but your system is saying you are having benign but you are actually having malignant. It is a very wrong or unsafe situation because you are having malignant but the system has predicted it as benign. So what is going to happen to you? Because you will think, okay, I have just benign, I can just go to go to hospital after some 2-3 months, but it is malignant which has to be approached immediately. So there is this kind of situation happening. So that's why we actually have this accuracy, precision, recall techniques to make sure that your algorithm is performing in a better and in a best way. Okay, so these are types of things which you can do with machine learning. With the machine learning, you can just do the classification. You can use it for classifying whether it is a good or bad, whether it is an apple or an orange, whether it is a male or a female. Okay, whether it is a benign or a malignant cancer, so that you will be able to classify. Classification is the one which is being used worldwide because of the machine learning, whether it is going to rain or not, whether it is a COVID positive or negative, even pregnancy positive or not negative, because of the thing, we can do it. Right. So recommendation algorithm is one which we get in our day-to-day life. For example, even if I watch any YouTube, no, for example, I'm watching some comic YouTube video, then all my recommendations will be of comic video. For example, I'm seeing some A.R. Rahman music, all my recommendations will be A.R. Rahman music. Right? Recommendation algorithm is one which is being widely used because it is getting trained with the data I use. Right, so there is a system which is running. For example, my Gmail ID, there will be a system. That system will understand my requirement. Okay, I like more A.R. Rahman songs, so all the A.R. Rahman songs will be given as recommendations to me. Right, okay. I'm looking for a new dress. Okay, then all the dresses of my choice. For example, I'm just looking for any suits, then all the suits will be coming for me. If I'm using some particular cell phone, that particular cell phone's suggestions will be coming. That's a particular cell phone's price down. All the recommendations will be coming from. So classification you can use, recommendation you can use, clustering also you can use. I will tell you how this clustering is used. Clustering is what it understands. Okay, for example, it will understand, okay, this person is actually listening to more Yuvan Shankar Raja music, then put him under the Yuvan Shankar Raja clustering. Okay, this person, okay, Nitya is also listening more to Yuvan Shankar Raja music, so put her under this Yuvan Shankar Raja clustering. So clustering is like it's grouping. Okay, the system will understand your requirement and it will go and group it into the clustering. So this Yuvan Shankar Raja clustering people will get the updates if Yuvan Shankar Raja is uploading a new video of his music. This is called as clustering. So in clustering, you have many types of clustering: flat clustering, hierarchical clustering. So clustering is also widely used because of this YAML. Okay. Apart from this, we also have many algorithms. One is linear, logistic, decision, SVM, naive, KNN, k-means, random. Right now, we also have deep neural network and then convolution neural network. There are many algorithms which you can go through to create your own YAML, right? Why are we creating this? Because we can create our own Siri, we can create our own Alexa, we can also create our own automated video surveillance in our home, right? We can create our own face recognition system. We can also create our own college attendance system. Whoever is showing your face, your attendance will be marked. You can also create this malware filtering. You can also do this online customer support. Okay, if someone is asking you where is do you have maida in your what to say in your shop, if maida is there, it will automatically say, yeah, I have maida, right? That is how you can create your own system. Okay, that's all I have for you guys right now. I'm gonna waste I'm not going to waste your time. I'm just going to wait for your own questions now. So we have seen a lot of things in machine learning, right? So first you have to understand the problem, collect the data, process the data, choose the algorithm, feed the data's input and output, train the system. Once the system is ready, you can ask questions to the system to check whether the algorithm is working fine. If the algorithm is not working fine, you have to make it little more in a way it works fine. Then you ask some questions to check it. This is how you make a machine learning device, right? So you can ask me any doubts you have right now.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, what are the courses can we pursue, ma'am, inside of machine learning? Because any suggested courses, ma'am?
Okay, so if you say suggested courses, I will tell you that once you learn machine learning, you can become a machine learning engineer, you can become a machine learning architect, you can become an AI architect also. So these if you want to become one among this, first thing you need to know about Python and library, because that is going to be the base for it. Then algorithm. As of now, I have showed you little algorithms which is very new to you. Like you might have known what is SVM, you might have known what is KNN, decision tree, rainforest. Okay, but then you need to know a lot of algorithms. First, you need to know Python, then you need to know algorithms. So it is like, I cannot tell you that if you read this subject, you will be able to do. If you read, for example, if you want to become any software engineer, it is sufficient that you know OS, you know DBMS, you know particular language, for example, Java, then you can become a software engineer. That is not the case in machine learning. You have to know Python, it is a must, or you have to know any language which you prefer, that is a must. Then you have to know the algorithm, because algorithm will be developed each and every year. If you can Google search, there are a lot of algorithm which is related to machine learning. You need to keep yourself updated in machine learning algorithms in the machine learning. So Python algorithm, then you need to just to know how to approach it. If it is an image based concept, how to approach it. If it is a database concept, how to approach it. For example, I can tell you that NLP is one small concept in machine learning which is widely used. For example, NLP is natural language processing. How to say, how do the recommendations, how do the reviews will work. I like this clothing because it is very soothing to wear, something like that. But what the machine learning will do is it will neglect all those things and it will take only the root word. For example, NLP is one small part of machine learning. Deep learning is one small part of machine learning. So if you want to pursue, you have to just research more on machine learning, but make your base better. Make yourself base better means you have to know the Python and algorithms. Okay, then you are good to go in learning NLP and good to go learning in deep learning. First do some small ML projects, then you will be learning more about that.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Ma'am, but how far, ma'am, the data science is related to machine learning?
Data science is related to machine learning. Data science is itself a part of machine learning, because you might have seen that in my whole thing I was keep on using the word data, because without data you cannot do anything in machine learning. In fact, you have many as you asked me what is data science. Data scientist is one small role, data analyst is one small role which you can give under the machine learning. So data science is more or less related to machine learning. Data science is now related to deep learning, machine learning, artificial learning, because without data you cannot create any artificial intelligence.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Good that you asked some good question, so that I can give everyone that answer.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, you have any question, you can ask me.
Ma'am,
Yes, no?
what are the issues in machine learning, ma'am?
Issues in the sense?
I mean, defect.
Defects. Defects in machine learning, you asked me. That's a right question. One main defect is that if you don't choose the particular that the system will understand it wrongly and predict it wrongly also. But how can we overcome? There are, if we have some problem, we also have some solution to overcome it, right? What are the solutions to overcome it? To make it, stop it memorizing, we can do the overfitting. We can keep on questioning it even during the training. Okay, for example, I'm just loading some 10,000 data to the system. For each 1,000 data, I can stop the training and ask questions in the 1,000 data. Okay, so that way I can avoid the memorizing things. Okay, then another thing is that there are chances that it may give a wrong output because it's still a data, right? It's still a machine, right? There are chances that about, for example, for 100 people it is predicting the COVID. For example, for 80 people or 85 people it will predict perfectly correct. The remaining 15 people it may predict wrongly also because it's still a system, right? That is one major defect of machine learning.
Ma'am, in model training, the thing is twice or thrice labeled, what will happen, ma'am? It will affect the actual thing, or actual output, ma'am.
Can you come again? Can you come again?
No, ma'am. If that in model training, if the thing is, if the particular project is doubly or thrice labeled, what will be the issue related? It will affect the output or not, ma'am?
No. It will not affect the output. If it is twicely or thricely labeled, it will not be affecting the output. In fact, we can give precise output as well. For example, I'm saying that for the okay, let us say this apple and orange. Okay, this apple and orange together, an average weight can be 400 gram. Assume. Okay, so weight is one label I'm using, but with just the weight label, I will not be able to predict whether it is an apple or orange because both are having more or less 300 to 400 gram. Okay, apart from weight label, I have to use another label. So, for example, I'm using color label. Okay, this can differentiately tell me added that, for example, orange may be some 250 or 200 gram, only one or two oranges may be 300 grams. At that time, with both these labels, your output will be precisely predicted. So it's no harm if you use 2 to 3 labels, it is going to enhance the output. Precisely it will tell you.
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
Good. Anyone have anyone slept?
Ma'am,
Was there
actually,
any fast? Yeah, tell me.
ma'am, actually, I have a doubt that is that algorithm differs from programming language to machine language?
Algorithm different from?
Differs from programming language to machine language, ma'am.
No. I can say that it got evaluated. For example, in programming languages, we also use SVM, we also use KNN, we also use K-means, but then it has got evaluated. The same concept only, it will be in a broader way. That's all. The same regression, the same logistic regression only will be applying. If you have X and Y, the same logistic regression only, but in a evaluated way. That's all. Enhanced way.
Enhanced way in the sense, any example?
Okay. For example, in a normal algorithm, we will be saying, okay, so it is a support vector machine, or we can say some algorithm. It's like okay, it is just used for classification. We say right, but then in this classification, you will not be having the data, large number of data. In machine learning, we have large number of data. So your algorithm should be robust. Okay, so robust in the sense it has to be able to withstand a large amount of data. Okay, for example, you have a deep neural network. Okay, we have one algorithm called deep neural network. Neural network, usually we use the layer around some 3 to 4 layers for the normal program. But when we use the same deep neural network with the machine learning, we will be using around some 10 layers. Why? Because it has to process a large volume of data. It has to be very robust. It has to be very less time consuming, because it has to tell the output immediately. So to make it, they may increase the layers. Okay, they will be increasing the pooling. They will be increasing the ReLU. So one point will be there, right? For every algorithm, the point's value will be differing. That way it will be enhanced.
Okay, ma'am. That means in machine learning, we could predict the output so faster than other things, ma'am.
Yes, faster than other things, but you have to train it in such a way.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Whether machine learning is available in cloud platforms, ma'am, cloud platforms.
Yeah, it's available. We can do machine learning with TensorFlow. We can do machine learning with Spider, and even with the clouds, we can do. They are doing it. With Amazon clouds, no, we can just call the data from the Amazon cloud and do the processing also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Does someone require any particular concept to be taught to you once again? Are we clear with things?
Yeah, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Thank you, Shibu.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Meenakshi.
Showing gratitude is one of the powerful things human can do for each others. So now I would like to call upon Dr. Anita, Head of the Department of Information Technology, to deliver the vote of thanks. Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, one and all. And thank you, Principal Sir, for coming and giving us the motivation. He was always motivating us to conduct such seminars so that students who are just idle this time during the pandemic, I want all the students to not to take this opportunity as we are fully free. Take this opportunity so that you can get access to all kind of technologies which are quite instantly changing every week or so, isn't it, ma'am? Yes. So I want all the students to note down all the whatever the changes are there, get access to all those technologies and develop your career. So with this free time will help you to do all such developments in your career and fetch you more knowledge. So we would thank Nitya ma'am who had accepted the invitation and given us such a broad view about the machine learning. Thank you very much, ma'am. And we welcome you. You come to our college and give us more insight about this
Sure.
thing. Thank
I'm
you
really
very much,
happy
ma'am.
to get a chance like this, ma'am. Thanks for giving this, ma'am. Both yourself and the person who has called me also. Thank you. I'm just pinning my number here. If you have any doubts regarding ML, or if you have any doubts in your career, if you want to know what is NLP, if you want to know what is deep learning, I'm ready to help you out. And it's just for free only. You can just make a note of my
Very
number.
much, very kind of you, ma'am. Very kind of you.
Thank you.
Students, please take this opportunity, note down all the informations you require. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys. So I will leave now. You can just ping me if you have any doubts. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.